Hello, everyone. My name is Michael. This is Anusha, and behind me is Marcus. We are. We are the Japan travel team who went to Tokyo Game Show together on Music Australia's International Development Fund grant. We are all video game composers and performer. And given that BitSummit is coming up soon, and I imagine a number of people in this room will be going there, we figured we'd talk about, how to get around Japan, what to watch out for, and for those who don't know, introduce, the foreign conferences. So yes, we all traveled as part of Music Australia's International Development Fund, which Anusha will talk more about.
Thanks, Michael. So we traveled. What we did was we wanted to go to Tokyo Game Show, and we're like, how can we do this, right? And we didn't really find game-specific grants that we could apply for. So we're like, okay, what about the music ones? So for people who are in different disciplines, like whatever disciplines you're in, one of the first tips I'm going to chuck your way is think a bit more broadly and about other funding bodies that could potentially help you get to an event that you want to travel to or help develop something. We applied to Music Australia, and then we were really lucky I think we were one of the only games-related projects that got funding. And what we also did was we were thinking about, okay, how can we make this more than just about us? Like, yeah, it's a great opportunity for ourselves, but what's something we can do for the community? And what we did was we made a document, which if you scan the QR code right here, you can access, and that's like our guide for how we prepared, how we applied for grants, traveling, accommodation, the different networking opportunities we found there, what we learned, things about recording studios there. So it's a bit music focused, but there's definitely a lot of useful information in there that you can look for. So I highly recommend you check that out. In terms of other grants that are coming up, I'm sure a lot of you have seen these, but the Future Delegations project that I think Scheme Victoria or Scheme Australia did, both of those funding bodies are now starting to put more grants out for games-related projects and traveling to conferences. So definitely recommend checking those out if you're not onto it. And I think that's it. There's more grant writing tips in the document as well, so I highly recommend reading that document for that. Really quickly though, when you're thinking about your grant application, think about how it's going to benefit you and then the broader community. Be really clear with what you want to achieve and have clear goals set out, ready to go. And I think that should help you get started. Thank you. I'll now pass it on to Marcus, who will talk about getting around Japan.
Cool. So part of being in Japan and part of the challenge of actually going there for a trip like this is actually just navigating being in Japan. And as a tourist, it's pretty easy, you get by. But for example, traveling to places like Makuhari Messe for Tokyo Game Show, there's a few other things you need to keep in mind. For one of these things, with public transport, the simplest way we found was just to use Google Maps, use Apple Maps, just follow exactly kind of what it tells you. They're actually really detailed at this point. It even tells you what exit, what part of the train to be on to make your transfers. There's a lot of that technology that makes getting around really simple. With paying for public transport, there's all of this. They have many options with like different passes and so on. Honestly, the simplest thing and what we did for this trip was to just get a Suica either through, if you're on an Apple device, you can get it through Apple Pay, or for Simon, who's not with us today, but it wasn't on Apple. You can very easily get just a normal Suica even at the airport. And so that makes it very simple, and actually the JR passes don't come to much cheaper. One of the things that we spent a lot of time doing in Japan was just finding places to eat, whether that just be for ourselves or for meeting up with people. And also the simplest thing was Google. Google has really good reviews, and if you look through everything and there's images and menus and prices, you can usually find something good. The other option in Japan specifically is Tabelog, which has a lot of good options too. On a similar note, for accommodation, what we ended up doing was we picked somewhere that was a little bit further out from Tokyo, but still in a very very transport central hub. So we were staying near Tokyo Skytree. This meant that actually we were able to get anywhere and almost everywhere within about 30 to 40 minutes, which I think was probably the most convenient thing of our location. We did an Airbnb, but there's a lot of different options. We did consider at one point going in Chiba, right next to Makuhari Messe, but there isn't too much to do, and locking yourself into that area kind of makes it a lot harder to meet up with any other people. Or we also had intended Tokyo Indies, and that's back in Akihabara, near Tokyo City. If you're thinking of BitSummit, which is coming up soon, I would probably suggest similar things. Look for accommodations that are near transport hubs that will let you get in and out very easily and just make your whole transport route a lot simpler and saves all your effort to actually, enjoying the place and enjoying the events. I'll pass it over to talk to you about the Tokyo Game Show itself.
So the crux of our trip was Tokyo Game Show. I think for all three of us, it was the first time we had gone to a conference of this sort of scale. And to illustrate, there were probably 8 whole buildings filled with exhibitors, and then extra buildings specifically for the indies and merch. So yeah, it's a pretty big event. In the indie section, we found a number of different country booths. So we, at least of the ones we could remember, we saw Poland, Indonesia, Hong Kong, India, New Zealand, and Korea. Unfortunately, last year there wasn't an Australian booth, but I did meet some Australian devs who had gone all the way to exhibit their game at Tokyo Game Show, which was good to see. I'm wondering if BitSummit will have any sort of booth for Australian developers given the future delegation grant, but I guess we'll find out. So yeah, last year there were about 53,000 attendees all over the world. Mostly, I would say it's a big hub for the Asia-Pacific region, though I met a number of people from all over the world, Sweden, America, you name it, right? Navigating the show, if you only speak English, is pretty easy. There's a lot of instructions, including guidebooks, that have English directions to navigate, but the main languages seem to be Japanese, English, Chinese, and Korean. And not everyone speaks Japanese and not everyone speaks English, just to keep in mind. In the indie section, there's also a lot of outsourcing companies that provide services such as translation, localization, and it's potentially a good spot to scout out maybe potential companies you'd like to work at in your respective field. The other thing I would also say about Tokyo Game Show is pace yourself. It is massive. You are not going to see everything. And there's a bit of a stereotype that game demos can be very long. So you can get stuck at one place for 30 to 45 minutes if you aren't careful. I remember one of my friends was playing a game for 45 minutes and someone else was like, okay, the game can't be that good. But yeah, that's Tokyo Game Show. On a similar note, here are the main differences I wanted to compare and contrast Tokyo Game Show and BitSummit. What's not here is BitSummit tends to happen in May. I think it's happening this year, around this time of year. And Tokyo Game Show is usually September, October. Tokyo Game Show takes place in Chiba, which is out east from Tokyo, while BitSummit is in Kyoto itself. Actually purchasing the tickets for both. For BitSummit, it's pretty easy. I bought mine a few weeks ago. Just log in, provide your name, a few details, and buy the ticket. For Tokyo Game Show, they actually do screen that you are a video game professional. And what that basically means is you need a somewhat legit-looking business or portfolio website and business cards. Definitely make sure you have business cards regardless of whether it's Tokyo Game Show or BitSummit. It is a huge cultural thing over there in Japan. There are two types of tickets for both events. There's the business days and the public days. Tokyo Game Show has a higher tier, the gold tier, which we got thanks to the lovely support that Music Australia provided us. And both of them have a meet-to-match feature that you can kind of call basically other people and attendees to organize meetings. If you've been to GCAP, it's a similar function. The prices are as listed, and at least Marcus already discussed our recommended accommodation. So I feel that's all for me. Oh, no, it's not all for me. On tickets for Tokyo Game Show, there are a lot of fields you'll need to fill out. They'll ask what your, what business category you're in, your occupation, and business category again. But if you have any questions, feel free to just reach out to us after this talk. And we can guide you to any answers that would best fit you if you're unsure. Make sure you print out your ticket beforehand, but it's also very easy to go to any convenience store in Japan and just print out your ticket for Tokyo Game Show there, which we had to do because a few of us forgot to pack our tickets in our suitcases. For BitSummit, as I mentioned, it's very easy. There weren't any checks. There weren't any screenings to check that I'm a professional. Just bought the business ticket and it was fine. So the only thing to note with this one is that you will need to print out your ticket at 7-Eleven in Japan. And that's where you pick it up as well.
I wanted to talk a bit about our experience networking in Japan, some of the cultural differences we faced. I mean, it's pretty simple, I guess. Cold calling people, emailing. Don't be afraid to do that. I think do your research beforehand. Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to connect with? What do you want to learn about? Don't be afraid to reach out to anyone, to ask questions. I was lurking on Twitter for a year, didn't post anything, and then hit up this relatively well-known producer, and I was like, hey, could you meet up for coffee? I'd love to pick your brain. You moved to Japan recently, right? And he was like, yeah, I noticed you lurking on Twitter. And I was like, great, Twitter paid off. Thank you. So you never know what could come your way. We reached out to a lot of people. Not everyone got back to us, but we were very lucky to have, I think we were in Japan for 18 days, and we were very lucky to meet people, at least one person each day or two people in a day, and really grateful for the time that those people gave us. So yes, don't hesitate to do that. There are also other events around, like those local meetups, kind of like what we have here in Japan, so Tokyo Indies, what Michael was talking about before, that happens in Akihabara. I think it's the third Wednesday of every month. I'm not sure if Kyoto or Osaka have anything similar, but I think there are events. You just might have to do some digging and asking around. Sorry, I'm not sure off the top of my head. We also wanted to talk a bit about the business cards etiquette. We recommend getting a business card holder, little thing here. You can easily find this at a stationery shop in Japan. And then I think in terms of accepting cards and receiving cards, it's kind of formal where people kind of give you their card with two hands and you take it and then you're like, okay, here's my card as well. So definitely recommend having your own business cards on hand. And we didn't feel the need to translate ours into Japanese. Most of my cards were in English. I think one of Simon translated his into Japanese. But a lot of people have English business cards, so might as well keep that. Yeah, with the meet to match, we didn't really utilize that system. We thought, let's just go, it's our first time, explore the Indies area and see what happens. But we did talk to more people who are a bit further on in their career, so more mid-career, and people really trying to push and take that next step. And they were actively looking for people to meet using the meet to match system. So there are people who do have back-to-back business meetings, and so if you're kind of at a point of your career where you've got a lot of credits and you have something that you want to show people and you really want to meet people, then highly recommend checking out the meet to match system. That is it for from me for this one? Right, anything you'd like to add? All right, great. So yeah, this is a link to our website, our contact details. If you'd like to come chat to us afterwards, happy to answer any questions that we can answer. I've also got 2 seconds. I've also got a bunch of brochures and pamphlets from people in Japan while they were there. So if you want to come check these out, there's some in Japanese, some in English. You can see kind of what games were displayed at Tokyo Game Show last year. I'm sure some of these will be at BitSummit this year as well. I think I saw a couple of games like that. So feel free to come bug me about these. Oh, one last thing. I feel like Japan, especially, is a culture that values presentation and how you show yourself. So if you're going to take a game to Japan, particularly, really think about your presentation, your booth, and how you're displaying everything, because everything there looked really good. Even if you played the game and it was a little bit clunky, it still looked really well presented. So make sure you're on top of your marketing game. Thank you.